Ah! Hi. Hello. Oh, I've got a very, very polished top of head today. Hello, how's everyone doing? I hope you're doing well. Hope you are, it's August. I have not been streaming for a while. I shouldn't be streaming today. Should I tell you why I shouldn't be streaming today? I've got COVID at the moment. I'm sweaty. I'm very hot. It's the first time I've tested positive for COVID. I thought I've had it a couple of times, but this time, definitely have it. Not too bad. I'm not too bad with it. Just a bit achy and tired and sweaty. So I thought you might want to know that. My voice has only just recently got better. Yeah, not feeling too bad. I don't know how long I'll be streaming for. Between now and an hour. Yeah, I love you guys. Thanks for turning up. Very shiny top of head. So we've had a load of stuff for Star Citizen. That's been going on recently. Obviously, Alpha 3.17.2 is now released. Got the Siege of Orison. You got Jump Town. My voice is gone again. But you're going to have to deal with it. We've got updates to the 3.18 roadmap. And 3.18 testing should start pretty soon. Early Evocati, yes. Super buggy, yes. And we don't know exactly when, but should start this month probably. If you'd like to ask a question during the live stream, question in brackets. And we will look through those. Hi, Board. Just wanted to ask why the weapon rack and the lockers on the 400i are not functioning anymore. So, when they update certain things, such as even if it's server frame rate, even though it's netcode stuff, sometimes it can break. It can have random knock-on effects. It's possible they disabled it for some reason as part of a bug. I didn't actually know they were functional in the first place, but give them a poke about it, they'll make them functional again. Obviously, with the cargo factor, that's like one of the things they'll almost certainly be looking at to make sure it works properly as intended. Lots of those weapon racks, lots of those boxes that should get set up.
Make sure to take care of yourself.
Oh, Icarus one, thank you very much. I appreciate the money. I mean, I'm at home sitting in a chair, chilling out. The only thing I'm not doing that maybe I should is having my aircon just blowing at me to make myself feel cooler. But I'm not sure if that's too healthy. I'm not too bad with it, to be honest. But thank you, I do appreciate it. I appreciate the money, and I appreciate the sentiment. How has 3.17.2 been with 30Ks? I have had a tiny amount in the way of 30Ks. I think I've had one disconnect. 15 months, Hannah! Wow. That's a lot. I don't. That's, like, that's over 4 years. I can't. Oh, that's weird. That's weird thinking because I didn't used to stream. I didn't used to like the idea of streaming. I'm much more comfortable just doing a quick video, bam, bam, in an isolated space. I think it's the sort of redacted podcast and that sort of stuff that got me. I used to just talking live, and then I sort of liked it as an outlet for anxiety, stress, and generally keeping a sort of like a finger on the pulse. I'm sorry that you have Doom Infection. Do you know if the NPC Incredible Mega Derp will be fixed in 3.18? Don't know for sure. Like, do we? Like, CIG, according to the monthly reports, according to all the work we've seen, have very functional, very good AI. It's just we haven't seen that. Sometimes, okay, that's not true. Occasionally, I have seen the AI work to an okay level, nothing special, but they've been functional. But typically, when that's during a PTU and the servers are incredibly unstable, and there's also other weird errors when that happens. So it's a weird one. Do I think that AI will function properly and be a intelligent, fun, and impactful as well as challenging AI to fight against at some point? Yes. Do I know when that's going to happen? No. Could it be 3.18? Potentially. What comes along with the persistent entity streaming and the network updates they've got planned for that? What comes along with that? Are we going to have to wait until server meshing before we have a more productive AI? Is it just down to server tick rates? I suppose ship combat wise, it's largely down to server tick rates because you can see in Arena Commander they function pretty well. Not always perfectly, but there's obviously work that needs to be done with the AI in general anyway. 4 years is less than half of dead time. That's true. That is true. How are you doing, Bored? How's Zinia? I've got COVID. Zin is fine. She's working on some videos. She's working on a law video. She just finished the monthly report, which I'll probably get out tomorrow. I might get it out later tonight. Got the Squadron 42. I think I've done myself. We're working on some Nord and NordPass and NordVPN ads. So I've bought Zin, After Effects, and the whole Adobe, all of the Adobe software now, rather than just Premiere. So we were making the movies in Premiere. So I bought Zin both of us, the whole repertoire of all the Adobe stuff. And I want to start putting some more advanced animations in my videos and with my dumb little Nord ads and things like that. So hopefully in the next few months you'll start to see that coming in, because I'm basically going, Zin, take some time to learn to do animations and cool little animation work, and I'll increase your wage proportionally to the amount of money we make because of it. So your donations and your continued viewing go towards Zin's wage. Good job. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I'm not. I've not been too bad with my COVID. It's lame, but it's not sort of. I thought I just had like a really bad cold, and I was getting better. I'll do a test, and I've done like 12 or so tests, maybe 15 tests in my time over the last couple of years. This is the first one that's been positive. And oh shit. There's a funny thing as well. Let me show this. So, obviously we've got the Clan Imperium basically doing Mario Kart in Star Citizen. So I started, of course, I started a video talking about it, and Zin basically went, Nintendo are very litigious. You can't have Mario Kart in the title. You shouldn't have a Mario Kart thumbnail, because they will just clamp that down. They'll put in a cease and desist request, things like that. And I was like, okay. So I had to rename my video Legally Distinct Kart Racing. But in 3.18, CIG are making use of one of the expo centers in that area, the Crusader Vision Center, the Orison Vision Center, and are putting a buggy track race there, which looks like it might have some sort of gameplay enforcement. So why is that important? Well, things like the Snake Pit or just you flying around in the burst, that's not player enforced racing. It's a race track potentially, but this looks like it's enforced somehow, like only for Grey Cats. Maybe there's missions associated with it, things like that. Looks really cool. Really like the idea of it. Boop. But it was more the funny story of I had to rename my my video. It's based on Zin saying, "Ooh, you're normally so worried about the names and titles and things that you do." And I was like, "Yeah, I am." But oh no, and I was like, "Oh no, I've got to change it all now." As I said, question in brackets if you'd like to ask a question. Be anything Star Citizen related, or about me, or about YouTube, about whatever really. I'll give it a damn good go at answering. It'd be so nice to have a radio. They could even make space stations called radio communication stations. I mean, I'd like to see radio stations on the Mobiglass and then just be pumped out in the bursts. I think that would be cool. Don't know how would you be able to make content that doesn't get repetitive. That's another one. Does Star Citizen have native controller support? I know it has. Controls work. I've used a controller. I think it's native. I think it has native support. Where did my hair go? I haven't had my hair for many a year. I used to have a beautiful mohawk. It was just aged out of me, my hair. What name are you going to give your PTV that you use for the go-kart track? Oh. Vaporware, probably? I think that's a nice name for a kart. News with the Corsair progress has gone quiet. Any news you may know of? Thanks, Board. Sketo, I can poke CIG. It's likely that I'll give us a bit of a ship update relatively soon anyway. Hey, Board, speed recovery wishes and all that. Oh, I need water. I need water. BRB. Water was closer than I had expected. Nice. Hey, Board, speedy recovery and wishes and all that. What are your thoughts on creating a page file for running Star Citizen better? Necessary or no? Probably only necessary on significantly lower end PCs. Otherwise, just let Windows handle it for the most part. As long as you've got at least 16 gigs of RAM, you're probably going to be okay as long as it's relatively fast RAM. I say relatively okay. Really, you want 32 gig. I used to run Star Citizen back in the day with 64 gigs of RAM, which is why I had pretty good footage. Now I've upgraded my PC significantly. I've got some very fast RAM, but it's only 32 gigs of it. Will clothes ever have a purpose outside of being purely cosmetic? So clothes may have armor values and abilities and attachment points associated with them, so stats and stuff. So sort of bear that in mind. They're going to try and have reasons that you wouldn't want to wear your spacesuit and armor all the time. Maybe they'll degrade and things like that. Any news on the new hover mode? Nope, nothing that I've seen. Chris Roberts has that look in his eye. Oh. How are you? You have a lot of similar issues as I do. You always seem to worry about you and your mental health. I hope you're well, brother. Oh, there's a ice cream van outside my house. No, bad ice cream van. No. I don't think you could hear it. It's not coming up on my microphone. It's pretty loud. Remember when I interviewed Montoya once, it came around. Stephen Barley, thank you very much for the 30 months of membership on the YouTubes. You're a legend. These awesome videos. Feel better soon. I will. I'm sure. I've been ill for like 6 weeks with a cold or flu or suspected COVID and now actually COVID. So I'm looking forward to being better. So when it comes to sort of mental health and stuff, I think everyone has various levels of stuff they deal with. Mental health is something that affects everyone. I am severely anxious as a person, but I'm also bipolar. So sometimes I'm not anxious at all, and sometimes I'm so incredibly anxious that I won't get out of bed. And I worry about the smallest things, and tiny little things can give me the same level of anxious worry as something major. So I sort of worry about my sort of physical health and stuff like that. I've gone back on keto as well now. I was gaining a little bit of weight because I've been ill for a while. And sort of like colds and stuff, nothing like major. I just wasn't exercising as much. So I was like, well, actually, I felt better when I was on keto. So I'm going to go back to that for a bit. Finding it particularly easy at the moment because I really like cooking. So just go no takeaways, no sugar, cook for yourself. You can maintain keto pretty well. I assume keto would be pretty hard if you were a vegan or a veggie. Much easier if you're a man, and because it's apparently much healthier for you. It's not as healthy for women, allegedly, from what the literature I've read. So, yes, I quite enjoy keto. Hopefully, it'll give me some health benefits. Although I'm not gonna, if my mates are going out and they were like, "Come to the pub." At the moment, I wouldn't go because I've got COVID. But I would want to go, and I probably would drink. Maybe an occasional break day. Oh, first of all, I feel better. Do you think cargo running is possible solo, or do you need a crew? You'll be able to do it solo. It depends on the size of your ship. Obviously, it's going to be a lot harder to do a solo cargo run on like a Hull E eventually, just because you want cargo management and engineers. Going on because of the size of it. There's going to be times to loading and unloading and costs to that associated with ships as well. So if you have more people, you might be able to reduce those costs somewhat. So bear that in mind. I do think it will be possible to do solo. Like, is it possible to do mining missions without escorts? Yeah. If you don't do dangerous mining in some areas, then it's probably going to be best that you bring an escort though. I appreciate all the kind words. Thank you, thank you. Statement. You always have one of, if not the most high effort sponsor spots on all of YouTube. Oh, my bad. My bad, no VPN ads. Thanks, I appreciate that. I appreciate the love. With the death of a spaceman, do you get locked out and have to redo Squadron 42, get things you unlocked for the character that perma-died? That is a really good question. We know that, obviously, a lot of the stuff will be passed to your next of kin in game. So you die in Star Citizen, and you're permanently dead. Like, obviously you can die loads in Star Citizen, be revived loads, but when eventually you'll perma die. So if you perma died, you've got a new character. Does that character, what's lost from the old character? We're not entirely sure. We know that there's going to be some level of death tax and some level of like, reputation drop, but do you lose your citizenship that you had from Squadron 42? Do you have to do that again? Wouldn't make sense that you'd have to do it again because you're living the same life as your father. Yeah? Or mother or whatever. Be weird. So I'm assuming that transfers directly to your new character. You sort of have the same contacts, whatever. Or maybe you can just quick skip it. Because you've already done it, right? That'd be my expectation. Clan Imperium have not confirmed. Do you think they would do Jump Town or give us 1 million after the 3.18 wipe? Jump Town and all of the dynamic events that have previously run, expect to see them in 3.18 at some point. Do we think that Cloud Imperium are going to give us a stipend to start 3.18 with? Probably, actually. Maybe like 500,000 or something. We don't know. Cloud Imperium have not said they're going to give us a stipend, and they said there's going to be a full wipe. Maybe they will want to just do a full wipe and see how it goes and collect new data. Hello, I'm the queen. Right. I always thought that one day I should just do a channel that does really, really bad and blatant ads for things. They just go, this is my ad channel. I'm going to be shilling something every day. Just come along. Perfect. I think that would actually make a lot of money. A lot of people would watch it just for the ads and buy the dumb things we did ads on. Not that NordVPN is dumb. The quality product. Endorsed by the Queen. I do appreciate all the kind words. Thank you. I can't have ice cream on keto, unfortunately. Although I could probably make some keto ice cream. Any news on the Hull series? They did a load more work on the Hull C. I'm thinking the Hull C might be ready for 3.18. That is not confirmed, though. When do you think they'll change armor in terms of function? You can currently run in heavy armor, 2 guns and a pack, or fly a ship comfortably with no reduction in movement. Yeah, so they're obviously going to tweak some stuff so that you can't like sit down with heavy armor on, and there might be more tweaks to exactly the sort of levels that armor have and gives you, and maybe there'll be like super heavy armor in the future, and then the Titan suits as well, sort of as a they're more as a vehicle, I suppose. Expect changes, we just don't know when. What's your favourite book? I can't really share some of my favourite books, just because they're somehow divisive. Gulag Archipelago is I don't say it's the most influential book I've read. Just because of how sort of dark and horrible as a true account it is. Yeah. See, I try not to be political at all on my channel, ever, because I'm incredibly respectful of other people's opinions and rights to have entirely different ideas to me, and I'm more interested in understanding why people have ideas and opinions than I am trying to convince them of other opinions. I'm happy to be have my mind changed all the time. I'm happy to be wrong, and I'm happy to discuss things when I'm in a social setting that's not my stream, with that sort of stuff. Although, you know, I can allude to things. I don't want to ever be sort of like in a position where someone's grumpy at me because I don't I've offended their whatever. I'm more interested in understanding why they think that rather than trying to convince them otherwise. That's just me though. As my favourite dyslexic pie bowler. I'm doing well, Robert Johnston. I hope you're doing well, sir. You are a legend. I'm glad you're here. I don't know what LTNFO it means. Is one of them F off? Now F off? I don't understand. I love you. Hope you're doing well, sir. Robert Johnston, a long time supporter of the channel and legendary person. I know a lot of you here are as well. Some are Yeti. You're a beautiful boy. You know I love you. Right, what else have we got? When do you think they'll... so literally we talked about that. When do you think they'll change armor terms of function? Yeah, we talked about that. Saw something on the progress tracker under the either the EU vehicle team or NA vehicle team called the VTOL Quartz. What? Let's have a look. Let me have a quick look. VTOL. I can't find anything with VTOL in. Is it Vault? Do you mean Vault? You see, you've got VTOL written there. Obviously, there's a load of Vault weaponry being made, and they're probably tweaking some of the VTOL tech, probably. What's your favourite solo cargo ship? That's an interesting question. It depends on what I'm doing. I love the Mercury Star Runner and probably use it as a cargo ship for solo cargo running as well, even though it's a multi-crew ship. I love the way that the Halle looks because it is a focused solo cargo ship. I guess on the new PC I'm building, I'll just have to leave it creating a page file. I have a 3090 Ti and a 5950. I said 5950X and 64 gigs of 4000 RAM coming. I should be okay. You should. I would leave. I mean, are you running it on a Star Citizen on a nice SD M2 drive? I assume some sort of solid state. Oi. Yes. Long time. No feck off. Nice. I didn't know what I meant, did I? Hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for the donation, Robert Johnston. That is very much appreciated. You've cured part of my COVID. There's a little sympathy cough there. Please donate. It cures. Will players ever have a skill-based reputation system? Example: if I'm an excellent turret gunner, but I've barely touched engineering, will the game make that apparent to other players? There'll probably be ways of rating other players. I mean, obviously, there's that star system and stuff in game, so you might be able to rate yourself and then have players rate you on those things. So if you've gone, I am applying to be on this person's crew as an engineer, and you're terrible at it, they'll rate you lower. Things like that. Yeah? So there are potentially some in-game systems that you could put forward yourself, and other players can rate you on to then allow for that. And that's what I would expect. Would you lose pledge ships if they're destroyed in-game and your insurance has run out? That is what we believe, yes. So when the game is live, and no more resets, fully live in many years' time, and you've run out of insurance on a ship, unless there's some form of statutory low-level insurance, which is possible, you will lose the ship when it's destroyed. Always just go for insurance. It's very likely that it will warn you if you try and take a ship out without insurance. If all goes well in testing, when can we expect 3.18 in live? So I think the minimum expectation was a 2-month testing cycle. So end of September if everything went amazingly. No. End of September, maybe. If everything went amazingly. More likely end of October. But if everything goes terribly, then it will probably absorb the rest of the year. And that's assuming that testing starts very soon this month. Which is likely, but... What about your character name? Will that transfer over, or do we have to choose a different name after death? Good question. We don't know for sure. I would expect that it will allow you to have the same name. Because, you know, that character could be the Junior. Donald Duck Jr. Whatever. Yeah, politics in Star Citizen. So if it's in law and it's like Lolani Addison and the Imperator and stuff, great. I'm going to get super involved with that. I'm going to get really involved with politics of orcs and stuff like that as well. I love that sort of stuff. That's games. That's all sort of really juicy gameplay and interest and intrigue. And that's the sort of stuff I do want to like. Okay, so when I was younger and playing Eve lots, I was like always really wanted to go to the Eve Fest stuff because people had a great time. They were getting drunk, they were chatting, they were playing games, they were talking about Eve, making alliances and stuff like that. I was like, oh, that's awesome. And we have that to some extent in Star Citizen now before the game's even live. So we've got that with the alpha, we've got these big game fests, we've got CitizenCon. It's really exciting to me. Robert Johnston for cough medicine. Oh, and hi, Summer. Thank you very much. I appreciate the money. I will have cough medicine with your money. You're a legend, sir. Hope you are doing well, genuinely. Is there anything I can ever do for you, Robert Johnston? You just tell me. You tell me, lads. Oh, you're a good chap, Summer Yeti. Love you, mate. Hopefully we'll meet up at Citizen Con or Bar Citizen or something. Well, we will at some point, I'm sure. When will paying for insurance become a thing too? They'll test at some point. Obviously, it's not important until the game's properly released. You can have a fist bump, to the effect that very PewDiePie, except with less controversial nature, apparently. Security Post Korea, what are your feelings? I'm glad that they're building up the area to have more missions, more intrigue, more actual security forces there. That makes sense that it's now going to be like a properly secured station, and you're going to be invited there for missions and to defend it. You're also going to be able to go there still to hack down your stuff, but it's going to be a lot more difficult. Cool. That is a... Oh, nice. I like the look of the Scorpius. Do have a... I'm not a massive fan of Star Wars. Okay, I'm a Star Trek person, and then just lots of random sci-fi, like Battlestar. I love Battlestar. I do like X-wings. I think X-wings look cool. I've had issues where bunkers are broken. Anyone else having issues? So occasionally elevators break, and occasionally NPCs don't spawn properly. / the elevators break that they come in as well. So for those two reasons, it's often hard to complete, or at least harder to complete, bunker missions. Lots of people are having those issues, or at least some. What is your preferred gameplay loop in Star Citizen, or one that you enjoy the most? Siege of Orison at the moment. Medical rescue gameplays is a good laugh. I don't know what... Gerald, I love you. Hey, look at me. Look at me go. 30 months. I don't know why the message got retracted, but I appreciate it. Gerald, my good lads. Thank you. 30 months. It's a long time. It's over a year. But Star Citizen-wise, sort of gameplay loop, anything that I can play with a group, I've always had fun with. CIG said all ships bought with real money would, or full release, would not be lost upon being lost. Those which insurance expired will just have to pay more than a normal ship to claim. So, I think you're talking about one of the concierge people said that may have changed somewhat, and they implied that there might be ways of getting the ship back, or yeah, you might get it, but you have to pay 90% of the value back or whatever. We don't know is the answer now anymore exactly what they've got planned. But that was a long time ago that was talked about. NPC crew when? There's lots of work going into making NPC/AI crew at the moment for AI ships, which will obviously then trickle down and become eventually AI crew that we can hire, NPC crew that we can hire. We don't know when. It's likely that we're going to see blades, sort of semi-autonomous systems, and the ability to go turn this turret into AI turret, pew, 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 before we have NPC crew. Next year, maybe we'll start to see things like that. But that is just an I reckon. Hey, Board. I hope you have a speedy recovery. COVID sucks. What do you think those unannounced ships finishing up work will be before November? I don't know. So not a massive ship, but not a tiny ship either, because they've talked about them having living quarters and areas and things like that. So it'll be interesting. Intergalactic Aerospace Expo could be anything, couldn't it? It typically is where they're going to have that. There might be something they release for CitizenCon. It might be something they release for Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. The Hurricane is a slow turner, but it's moderately fast in a straight line, and it's got very powerful guns. So all you want to do is fly it at or away from things, while the gunner takes everything out. will we be able to keep and use salvaged ships? So, salvaged, no. Could you tow a ship that isn't fully destroyed or is somehow repairable with the SRB, which is being worked on at the moment, as I believe are large-scale tractor beams for ships? Could you repair that? Yeah, you could potentially repair some ships. Could you board a ship and take it over? Yeah. How a liberated ship's going to work, how a stolen ship's going to work, we don't entirely know yet. It's possible that you'll be able to, and Cloud Imperium said a while ago, yeah, you'll be able to jump through a few sort of loops and things, hoops and things, and potentially get a stolen ship registered as if it's a legal ship and things like that, but we don't know for sure. So salvage sites are going to be potentially very different from a ship that's functional that you can salvage. Can you salvage ships that are functional? Yeah. Can you also take control of them? Yeah. Yo, board, I was wondering when the Siege of Orison event ends. So, we don't 100% know yet. We've definitely got it this weekend. I'm expecting it to go into next week as well. But we definitely got it this weekend. Cloud Imperium should update a schedule and tell us. I would expect it to come back as well, the Siege of Orison. It's not just going to be a one-off. Do you think orgs should get more in-game functions before they release Pyro? Yeah, we should have had more org functions 3+ years ago. We need the ability to share ships, see org tags, organise better for orgs. There's loads of stuff. Declare org wars, loads of bits and bobs, and would make the game a magnitude better. Because especially now that server sizes have increased. Bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to use the facilities. That's the toilet. I need a pee-pee. You're in charge, Sharon, Chris. Hello. Now the sounds I make when I sit down, because I'm getting old. I'm looking forward to the next physical CitizenCon event. I had one of my mates say, that's not true. I had a friend imply that works at CIG that it's looking like we're going to see a physical event in the UK next year, but I don't know if that's true or not. But I'm looking forward to some bar citizens. Oh, actually, is anyone, and I'll post this up on my social media and stuff, anyone going to I-69? Nice. I-Series, because me and Zin and some of our mates are going now. We're playing some games on our Steam Decks. I was thinking maybe of running like a little tiny bar citizen there. My Herman Miller chair is not liquid cooled. I wish it was. It is mesh. I've got an aircon next to it though. What else have we got here? So Star Citizen is now starting to make a lot of progress and starting to deliver some good quality. Like 3.17.2 is not perfect by any means, but it is the best patch we've had to date by far, in my opinion. And there's a load of content there. It delivered a lot more than I was expecting. Yeah, there are bugs and things that need to be fixed for sure, but with elevators and things, accessibility issues are do annoy me. But how viable do you think salvage will be in the beginning? I'm really wanting mining cargo salvage gameplay. Good question. We don't know. I'm expecting it to be a relatively well-paying version of mining, just from the off, if you can find the salvage sites. Are you expecting the game to be more stable or take a step back with stability and new content in 3.18? Good question. Don't know. We'll be able to discern that based on the way the PTE goes. But if you look at Star Citizen now, it's starting to move away from placeholder content. It's starting to move away from a lot of these things that consistent entity streaming, new networking updates, a network overhaul, server meshing, the new stuff that is coming replaces and fixes potentially a load of the problems Star Citizen has. So could 3.18 be a disaster? It could. Could the PTE be incredibly buggy? Almost certainly. But is it a step towards a much better product? Yes. And that's what I'm hoping for as well, even in the alpha patch. So, a long story short, my buddy last night got damaged mining, says quantum drive got destroyed. Do you know if salvaging in 3.18 will be able to repair that? So there will be the ability to use the hand tool and the salvage material to repair things. What will it be able to repair? It looked like originally it was going to be the holes and hulls, but maybe you'll be able to repair components as well with it. Don't know. Good question. Might just be you repairing health on like sections of the ship. I hope it would allow you to repair, at least in the short term, components. I've tried the Siege of Orison multiple times, but it seems to be very bugged, with often the lieutenants not spawning. Have you had those issues? So I've only played the Siege of Orison once in the live build and didn't have those issues. So I think it might be due to server degradation, and there were problems with, basically they wanted to, they're running at 100 to 120 player cap servers at the moment, yeah. They wanted, when Siege of Orison was running, to reduce that down to 75, but they didn't. They left it at 120 on a lot of servers, and I think that caused some problems. So that's sort of server degradation, which then leads to things not spawning properly like the lieutenants. I just wish it would run multiple checks for spawns, saying, oh, this lieutenant isn't here. Spawn him. Will the cargo refactor allow for shipping items stored in inventory on pallets to other locations for either the player or NPCs you transport? Eventually, yes. It will allow for that in the future. I'll be getting that for 3.18. I don't think so. We can probably have stuff delivered that we buy to different areas in 3.18. I'm not sure what distance that will be, or if it will just be personal, hangar, and space station sort of thing, or ship. We'll have to wait and see, I suppose. But eventually, yeah, you'll be able to hire players to transport stuff for you. Do you think we might get physical damage done by the end of the year? I think they're working on it. I think it's something we'll see next year, physicalized components of physical damage. I bloody well hope. It's been so important they get that in the game for so long. Now, there might have been other dependencies that they haven't solved, or they are working on, or maybe even like server meshing is part of that dependency set. It's possible. So, I mean, you could probably see that persistent entity streaming could potentially be part of getting physical components of physical damage in. Maybe. Where would be rescuing Board's hair and Star Citizen? I hate you. Shut up. Banned. How long until I can get some Big Bennies? Big Benny's noodles will be in game at some point. You'll be able to get them for vending machines and probably noodle bars. Have they said anything about how events would affect the body count towards Death of a Spaceman? The amount of times people have died in just one session. Siege of Orison seems like it hit the 4 subject to change deaths to permadeath. So, I think there's going to be lots of things. Like, maybe there's medical insurance, maybe where you die, maybe how bad the wound is. Did you get healed? Things like that. Like, because if you're going down at the siege Orison, well, there's loads of medical facilities nearby. There's much more likely to be able to get you there at some point. If you're dying in deep space regularly, that's and then like you're ejecting, well, you're not ejecting, more like you're exploding in your cockpit. That's probably relatively dangerous. There's probably ways of revitalizing yourself as well with better medical insurance or gene treatment and stuff like that as well. The idea is that you keep on getting cloned and your memory's transferred, very similar to Eve, but your clone degrades the more you do that, and eventually they can't bring you back. Strictly from a narrative or story standpoint, inheriting citizenship from family doesn't seem to make sense. Otherwise, the small middle class would eventually build dynasties of people not needing to serve in the military, and in law, almost everyone who gains citizenship is by military service. That wouldn't be true if having citizen parents made one a citizen. Okay, does that seem right to you? I don't know. We've got a bit Starship Troopers. I see what you're saying. I'm thinking from a more gamified point of view. Does it make sense that you're playing through the Squadron 42 campaign again? So maybe there'll just be a quick step, a quick skip, a feature, or maybe they just treat you as a friend of that person. I don't know. I see what you mean, though. When will visor movement on helmets be a thing? Like the one Orc X concept art. Any news on the X one? I don't know about the helmet stuff. I don't even know exactly what you're talking about there. Sorry. There's no new news on the X1 either. Cool hover bike. Yeah. Don't know when. I want to see the Hollow Shader Skull helmet that we've been waiting on for a while. What else have we got? All 3.18 have in terms of tech, updates, and full persistence, etc. So it's got persistent entity streaming, saving locational data of items in the server. So what does that actually mean? Well, one of the things it means is that you can place a hula doll down or a cache of weapons down, bam, and it stays there on the server, even if you lock off. Yeah, we're not sure if it's going to be sharded, loaded in and out with you at that stage. Don't know. Or if it just puts you back in that server. And go, well, how can it put me back in that server? What if that server crashes? Well, one of the things about saving locational data is that actually full persistence or the persistent entity streaming saves server states significantly better, and they are regenerative, and if it crashes, there's redundancy. And so it can bring that server data back up. So that's a big thing. And are all those servers going to feed into each other for the data in 3.18? Maybe. I'm not sure to the extent of how full persistence and persistent entity streaming is going to affect 3.18. How much of it's backend, how much of it is in our hands, and actually quantifiable. But there's a load of other stuff in 3.18. Obviously, you've got the cargo refactor. Again, the cargo refactor, there's a lot of mysteries there. We know that they want to make cargo more physicalized. They want you to be able to interact with cargo commodity more and sort of pick that up from different ships, put it on your ship, and manage that much better. So not just solid blocks anymore. They want to eventually have loading and unloading times associated with cargo and costs and fees associated with it. Just how physical and interactable is the cargo going to be? How are they going to expand out cargo missions? Are they going to have cargo movable by tractor beams? Are we going to see larger scale tractor beams in 3.18? But the cargo overhaul should mean more cargo containers as well, larger ones, and an overhaul to some extent of cargo gameplay. But we don't know exactly what we're getting with 3.18 with it. But we know that there's a load more sort of content with salvage. So hull stripping is the main type of salvage we're getting in 3.18. That both the Reclaimer and the Vulture, which is included in 3.18, will have. You also have hand salvage tools, which will also be able to use the materials from salvaging, from hull stripping. and from the Vulture and the Reclaimer tiles dripping as well. I mean, little dispensaries. We'll be able to fill tanks up. You could sell those tanks, or you can use them to repair. What can you repair? Holes in ships is what it was originally said, but someone was talking about potentially repairing components the other day. I say other day, I mean a few seconds ago in my chat. And I was like, well, actually, maybe that makes sense in the short term. So that's a sort of new viable gameplay loop. We also got a load of points of interest and gameplay area. We've got new rivers. They're putting loads of new rivers on Microtech and Heston, and bodies of water as well. You've got Star Runners and 600 Eyes as derelicts, and sort of like a larger derelict 600 Eyes, Star Runner, and settlement area all built up as well, with loads of missions and things going on there. There's sand caves that they sort of like got a new type of cave. There's a big update to Arena Commander's race maps. They're putting the Snake Pit in there. They're overhauling the other 3 maps. And so that should actually be quite interesting. You've got an update to prisons. There's a load of new stuff there. Security Post Korea, that is becoming a much more hotbed of mission activity. They're putting NPCs in there. They're having a load of gameplay there. That's going to be off limits, sort of like to civilians, and obviously criminals will go there to try and hack down their stuff, or for missions, much more dangerous missions most likely now. Civilians will be invited there, or civil defense force will be invited there to help like drop off evidence and things like that. I'm really liking those ideas. There's going to be a load of new missions around Orison and the platforms there that we've used for Siege of Orison when the Siege of Orison's not running. They are expanding out interdictions. So interdiction is more varied and dangerous potentially, and there's going to be more missions that you can stumble on throughout sort of space as you sort of wandering around. So that's quite a lot of stuff there, and there might be more. But that's what we know at the moment for 3.18. I think it's exciting. So we got, if anything, will at some point ground environment defamation be in game. They can do it. They showed it off. They've been like, look, we can actually do this. I don't think they want to have ground defamation in game beyond a level of farming and a level of base building. Sort of potentially deforming ground, but I don't think they want to just be able to deform the ground or explosions to deform the ground. I think it's too complicated for them. Do you think we will hit info about things beyond 3.18 as the quarter goes on? Yeah, I'm expecting we'll see other bits they talk about for the end of the year and for 4.0, so 3.19 and 4.0 that they'll be talking about. Yeah, fire extinguishers, fire tech, damage control, yeah, for sure. Atmosphere and ships, yeah, they have talked about it a little bit. Physicalized components, physical damage, things I'm hoping they talk about too. What else have we got here? I appreciate all the kind words. Thank you. Love. Why is there no Big Benny's plush? Oh my god, you're right, we should have a Big Benny's noodle machine plush as well, not just the bowl, not just the noodles. They are adding more and more dashboard customization items to ships, so probably not too. It'll be a Big Benny's noodles thing for your dashboard pretty soon. Which barge is the medical bed on? So on the second major platform, not Hartmoor. I can't remember. There are. I don't think there's a medical bed on the barges. I saw on all the floating platforms. The one between the first one and Hartmoor. Am I getting confused? I can't remember what the name of the platform is. Okay. The Lanky, Brushwood, and Hartmoor. Cool. I think it's on Brushwood platform. There's a tier 1 medical bed. No, tier 3 medical bed. The low tier medical beds. God damn. TOG's hearing systems. Do you think UEC will be rebalanced and ships will cost? Yes. Expect a big economy rebalance in the future. And then stuff to be very dynamic. Chips should be a lot more expensive, in my opinion. Or they should be relatively more expensive. But Alpha UEC, you should get a lot less Alpha UEC for everything. So technically, chips would come down in price heavily, but they'd be more relatively expensive. Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean. Will I find love in Star Citizen? Why not? Some people do. A lot of people got married and had babies with people in World of Warcraft when I was younger. Why is alcohol illegal in game and not certain drugs? Because certain drugs aren't legal. Alcohol might not be legal everywhere in Star Citizen. You think we'll ever see a crafting system that involves exploratory sample gathering? Yes. Scientific experiments? Yes. Big game hunting, surveying, loads of things. Anything you can think of like that will be a mission type almost certainly for science and exploration. When AI is fully functional, all stuff like air and ground-based missions, e.g. take out fighters and AI attack a bunker or something. Yeah, expect them to be a huge range of missions like that. And they'll be able to attack and reinforce those areas too. How will we fill the raft? The boxes are too big for the mule or by hand. So at facilities, so at cargo facilities, at landing zones, and with larger scale tractor beams. What are the chances that dialogue trees will be removed in favour of an AI chat or NPCs? I don't know exactly what you mean by that. Sorry. Will drugs be a thing? Yes, the narcotics in game already, and expect in the future you'll probably take some of them for bonuses. Well, you can obviously there's loads of medical stuff in the game already, medicine stuff that you take. They'll make you walk very funny if you take the too many, and your blood drug level gets too high. Consider the amount of content we'll get from 3.18. Would you consider it a mega patch? Yes. Yeah, I mean it's a giant patch. It's an important one as well. Obviously not as important as 4.0, but it's a big step towards 4.0. And when do you think we'll see base building? They're building up the raster system more and more. I think they'll talk about it at CitizenCon this year, talk about it more next year, and then the year after maybe we'll have it. Are bespoke MFDs in development? Any updates? There were some bits about it in the monthly reports, but nothing major. Star Citizen Live today? Yeah, there's a Star Citizen Live today. I think, is it a VFX one today? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Where's the Star Citizen Live? 3 p.m. UTC, so now. There's a VFX Star Citizen Live just about to start. And I'm going to send you over to that in a minute. Personal hangers. I need to put my fish tap somewhere. So persistent hangers are likely to be a thing relatively soon after 3.18. They were going to be definitely in this year at one point. Absan hangers, sort of. At least hangers. But they sort of moved them back. I'm thinking they're probably, if 3.18 goes well, and with persistence, they might put personal hangers back in. Or say personal hangers, I don't really mean that. What I mean is that you'd be able to have a hanger that you're able to store stuff in at the common hanger zones. And that would effectively be a storage area there and chip storage area there. And it'd be, you have a bit more interaction than you have now. Nothing fully physicalized or anything. Would you happen? What is missing for us to have AI blades in game? What would you know? Is that what it is? So they have the tech for AI blades already. You see that on some of the ships. So the turrets being used by NPCs are effectively a version of AI blades. They need the actual blades as an item, the UI for it, and how it interacts with the player experience all to be done. So there is a way to go there still. Do you have an org? I have multiple orgs, but I run an org, a BoredGamer org. It's just a social org at the moment that I don't use very much, but I will be using it to, help get footage and sort of do some community stuff, which you're more than welcome to join. Will this game eventually have a VR mode and support eventually? It's supposed to. That's what they wanted, and they've talked about it a few times. Devs have said that they'd work on it in their spare time if they had to make sure it gets in the game. And once they've got their Gen 12 renderer stuff done and Vulkan support in, they can actually start talking about it more readily. I think it's something we'll see in Squadron 42, and then maybe in Star Citizen to some extent, but I think it's much more viable for them to get it in Squadron. Right. I love you guys. All right, let's lightning round some other questions I've just seen. Would you suspect that CIG might add functional flare for ships in the future that cost more UEC, like clocks? Yeah, 100%. I would expect to see some functional items, microwaves, clocks, barometers, extra MFDs that you stick down, lots of things, lots of silly things. Expect that there's going to be a wide breadth of that stuff. I appreciate all the love. Thank you very much. Thank you. Right. They might tweak some of the sort of struts and cockpits and stuff. I'm going to find someone to send you over to on Twitch. I'll post that up in the chat. Thank you very much for watching me today. It's very much appreciated. Love you all loads. I'm going to go have a lie down because I've got COVID and I need to get another bottle of water. And I need to feel sorry for myself, although I am feeling much, much better than I was. I've been ill for like 6 weeks. And sort of icing on the cake is COVID at the end. So, yeah. Thank you very much for joining me today. I very much appreciate all of the kind words and the money. That also helps. And the subscriptions and becoming YouTube members and all that sort of jazz. It really does help. Now, I love you guys. And I'll look for someone to send you to. Right. TV. No. Star Citizen. Who is actually online at the moment? I just send you over to. You over to SMB if Star Citizen. Are they actually live yet? They are live. Cool. I'll just send you over to Star Citizen. Perfect. / raid Star Citizen. Perfect. And then. Oh, I'm a professional. Easy game. Right. Hope you enjoy the Star Citizen Live. Thank you very much for watching. Love you guys loads.